Hello and welcome to NDTV Profit. You're watching IPO Adda and my guest today is from Sanathan Textiles. Their IPO is opening on December 19th and closes on December 23rd. Price between 305 to 321. It's an IPO which is 550 crores in size, fresh issue of 400 crores and OFS of 150 crores. And joining me today is Paresh Dattani, who is the Chairman and Managing Director of the company, and Sameer Dattani, who is the Executive Director of the company. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us on NDTV Profit. To begin with, Paresh, give us a sense of your business model, what the business is all about, and also the 400 crores that you're raising in fresh equity. Where is it going to be used?
Good morning. We are in the business of manufacturing yarns. So we are the only company in the country where we have three verticals of yarn in one business at one location. We manufacture polyester filament yarns, we manufacture cotton yarns, and we manufacture yarns for technical textiles. So this is the basis. We have been into the yarn business for many, many years, and we have been in the manufacturing for the last 30 years also. And as far as the primary issue of 400 crores that you asked, we 300 out of that, we will be paying back our debt, 160 crores from the current plant and 140 crores from the expanding Punjab facility.
Sameer, come in here. Can you take us through the capacities that you have in these respective businesses which Paresh spoke about? And he also spoke about the upcoming facility in Punjab, Wazirabad. How much that facility will add up to the entire company's capacity?
So currently we manufacture 2,23,000 tons per annum across the three yarn verticals that we have at Sanathan Textiles. The polyester filament yarn facility manufactures about 200,000 tons per annum. The cotton yarn capacity is about 14,000 tons per annum. And we also make yarns for technical textiles, where we currently manufacture 9,000 tons per annum. In 2025, we have a new facility starting in North India, in Punjab, about an hour from Chandigarh Airport. And out there in the first phase, we will be manufacturing 250,000 tons approximately of polyester filament yarn. So we'll be more than doubling our current polyester filament yarn capacity in the times to come.
Can you take us through the timeline for this commercialization of this facility? Because I understand it's in phases that you're going to bring it up.
That's right. So as far as the construction and erection is concerned, we're at the last phase, and we're expecting to commission this facility in the first quarter of next year, the first financial quarter of next year. And the ramp up will happen in a phased manner over 1 or 2 quarters, where we'll be reaching the capacity of almost 250,000 tons per annum. But in the first year, we will not get full capacity because of the ramp up that will happen.
Paresh, give us a sense of the kind of market that we are in, because both polyester and cotton prices have been very volatile, and in fact in the last 18 months we have seen the volatility in such a way that it has impacted your top line as well. From FY 23 to 24, your top line has fallen primarily because prices of MEG and PTA have fallen, and cotton prices have also fallen. So give us a sense of where the market is at this point in time.
We did have a drop in revenue. The revenue drop was mainly because of two reasons. One, as you rightly mentioned, the drop in PTA/MEG raw material prices and accordingly the finished prices. But the volumes were not down. So we didn't lose any volumes, but it was because of the pricing. We also had a major shutdown of the plant for maintenance, which we do once in 5 years. So we did that in the April of that year. So that was another reason for the loss of revenue. But otherwise, we are on stream in the current year also. We are on stream in the first quarter to do the normal revenue. We are stressing our assets fully. So we don't have any further capacity on the existing plant. And as Sameer mentioned, we'll be more than doubling our production at the Punjab.
Give us a sense of the pricing environment as well. Cotton yarn and polyester yarn, how are these prices faring as we speak?
So the prices are stabilized after what you mentioned about we had the pent up here, which most industries did in 22. Then there was a lull phase because of the geopolitical situations across, where exports also got hampered. But we are now stabilized, and I think we are back to where we were in terms of margins in cotton yarn as well as filament yarns.
Has polyester yarn gone back to 120 plus or cotton to 322 plus or is it still lower than that? What we saw in effect?
Polyester is about 115 to 120. In cotton, we are at about 325 to 330.
So it's almost at FY23 par basically, if we speak. One question on the raw materials, Samir. Since a large portion of your revenues are now coming from polyester yarn, MEG and PTA, you have been importing that from international markets. You don't have enough suppliers in the domestic market for them?
We do have domestic suppliers, and currently our basket is 50% domestic and 50% import. This changes year on year depending on the availability domestically and internationally, and a little bit on the pricing. But the key thing here is that the domestic suppliers and the international suppliers, they all supply raw material at the same international index. And then we have an annual contract with them regarding quantities and the formula of the pricing.
Okay, and a large portion of the sales that happen for both polyester and cotton yarn, is it both domestic based or you have an international market for that as well?
So averagely, we've been exporting around 10% of our production internationally, goes as low as 6, goes as high as 16. But largely, our consumption is domestic. The India story is very strong, and we're very, very optimistic and bullish about the India story in the years to come.
Since cotton is a seasonal product, what is the kind of inventory that you need to carry for your entire year? Because my understanding is that while currently cotton is a small part of the thing, but Silvassa unit 3 and 4 may be cotton based, so you are increasing your cotton capacity there as well.
Yes,
it's a natural crop. Yes, we do carry stocks towards the end of the season for a couple of months. It depends year to year, of course, how many months of stock to be carried, depending on what is the stock available in the system.
And what is the normal inventory day that you carry? Because your inventories days are roughly around 66 days. So is it that's primarily because of the cotton carrying days, or is it as such you carry more than 2 months of inventory?
No, on the cotton side we carry about 2.5 months of cotton at any given time. On the polyester side we carry about 8 days or 9 days of raw material stock. Then there is some finished inventory, and of course the receivables are there, which is about averagely 18 days, 20 days.
Large part of your sales happen to distributors. If I'm not wrong, 96.5% happen to distributors. And I've seen that there's a trend in increase in distributor margins. Is the market getting competitive and you need to pay higher margins to push your product across?
So our sales to distributors
that's not the correct analysis, I would say. We are selling a large portion through distributors, yes, but we have our own sales team all across the country where they are in touch with the end customers.
Okay.
And large part of the sales is routed through the distributors, yes.
Okay. And Samir, you were adding something?
I said, in fact, I'm seeing a growing trend of how we are more and more in touch with the customers and the brand. Largely we're a B2B2C kind of a setup. So though the end consumer are the brands, but we have our immediate customers are contract manufacturers. But we're seeing a changing trend where the brands and the end consumers are more and more in touch with us as far as demand, requirement, development is concerned. But like Paresh Bhai said, that as far as the channelizing of sale is concerned, yes, largely majority of it is through distributors.
Give me a sense of the revenue profile that will be over the next 2 years, because you're undertaking capex which is happening in Wazirabad, and then you're doing a brownfield which is in Silvassa, which is expanding both your cotton and polyester yarn facilities. So at the end of say FY26-27, when both the capacities come on stream, what is the total capacity that you will be having?
So the yarn manufacturing.
Yes, Abhi, go ahead.
The yarn manufacturing capacity, like I mentioned earlier, will be more than doubling. Our current capacity is 223,000 tons. And by end of FY27, we would be cumulatively making close to 500,000, 5 lakh tons per annum of yarn.
And cotton?
including cotton. So cotton currently is 14,000 and we'll be adding another 8 to 9,000 tons of cotton yarn.
So the revenue profile will continue to be majorly in favor of polyester yarn going forward as well, right?
That's right.
How do you manage your receivables? Because your receivables are around 145 crores at the end of Q1, and it seems to be a little higher on the side. Is it because of the seasonality, or how is it actually?
You see, our current revenue is close to 3,000 crores per annum, and our average receivables are in the range of 18 to 20 days, and that continues to remain.
Okay, and is there a seasonality that you see in this business?
In terms of different segments, yes, because the beauty about what we do is that we make a wide variety of yarn products, and we are suppliers to different industries and sectors, right from automotive to apparel and garments to home textiles to technical textiles. So the demand seasonality of the different sectors we do observe, and we have enough fungibility in our manufacturing setup. It's designed with the ethos to make sure that we run at our installed capacity of more than 95% throughout the year, and that's one of our key strengths. So we sort of have enough fungibility to make sure we supply to our different customers. Just to give an example, I have a customer who makes umbrella fabrics and buys yarns from us. Now his typical peak demand in the year comes in March, April, whereas another customer who makes fabrics for Indian wear, sherwanis, bandi jackets, etc., his peak demand comes around July, August. So in that sense, there is seasonality, but at a capacity level, we are running 95% plus installed capacity throughout the year.
And the margin profile 9.78% in Q1, that's a jump from 7.6% for FY24. Is that the margin profile that we are going to see for FY25 as well? Is that maintainable?
Yeah, FY25 will end at a similar margin, and we see, if you see the last 3 years, we have done averagely 10.7% EBITDA margins, and this is what we think we can achieve easily.
And that would be despite any volatility in your raw material prices, because while cotton would have stabilized, MEG and PTA are more crude dependent, and we are seeing spikes coming in crude. So how does that impact your the margin profile, because you don't have long-term supply agreement with any supplier?
No, we have long-term supply agreements. We don't have, the pricing is changing every week to week locally and about month to month internationally. So we also have our orders in hand for about 2 to 3 weeks at any given point in time.
Is there an order book that you have that you can share with us?
No, we do have orders from our regular buyers who book our orders. They give us a requirement for the next couple of months, but the pricing is fixed for the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay, and there's a pass-through of any increase in raw material prices that come in as part of it?
Yes, that's the idea, that we pass through increase or decrease of raw materials. Of course, there could be a lag at times.
Finally, Mr. Paresh, give us a sense of the pricing environment for polyester and cotton, because that's something which is it's going to fluctuate. You said the prices have come back. Do you see prices to be in the same range for the next couple of quarters as well? Because we have finished Q2, you haven't given us a Q2 number yet. I assume that it will come after the listing. But how has been the pricing for polyester and cotton?
I think more or less it will be in the similar range going forward. Yeah.
And you don't see any volatility or anything which is coming in, right?
Nothing substantial. I don't see a major volatility on the pricing front.
Mr. Paresh and Samir, thank you very much for joining us today on NDTV Profit. Your IPO is opening on December 19th, closes on December 23rd. Price between 305 to 321 rupees per share. Is an IPO for 550 crores, which includes an OFS of 150 crores and 400 crores of fresh issue. And that values the company at roughly 2,709 crores at the upper end of the price band. Thank you for joining us on today on IPO.